welcome to Focus Radio and Television. I'm Anthony Rayo, and this is Focus Lake County's radio program brought to you by Red Apples Media. Now on stands throughout the county is our July issue of Focus magazine. The face of race issues in Lake County might not be as it appears when first looking at the prejudices that exist. Focus looks at misconceptions that compound dissension among residents and helps solve the issue. Our second story highlights how years ago a local high school's desegregation was nearly besmirched when trophies and awards from black student athletes were buried and nearly forgotten, but how some community members helped keep those memories alive. Plus we have highlights from LSTV's Profiles interview, one-on-one interview with Freddie Williams from the CEO of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Lake and Sumter counties. You'll be able to watch all of that and see this radio program and other Focus TV segments on LSTV, which is Comcast Channel 13, Bright House 498, and Florida Cable 4, or online at lakesumtertv.com and focuslakecounty.com. Also, you can listen to us here on the first and third Thursdays of each month on WLBE at 1:30 in the afternoon. Also in July's Focus, we actually looked at some of the cute dogs that were brought into work in our area on June 26th, which is National Take Your Dog to Work Day. And with that in mind, we're going to start off by talking to Kristine Murtz of Cornerstone Hospice and Palliative Care. She's a Gold and Emerald Team volunteer specialist with the Pet Peace of Mind program. She's the coordinator for that. And we're talking about how pets can benefit and how patients can actually benefit from the Pet Peace of Mind program. So welcome, Kristine.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
Great.
All right, so on page 16 in Focus this month, there's actually an article that deals with that program, the Pet Peace of Mind, which I understand was founded by the Banfield Charitable Trust. How did it get its start, and what exactly is this program?
Banfield Charitable Trust recognized the importance of the human-animal bond, and especially when we're ill or going through an end-of-life journey. And so they developed the Pet Peace of Mind program, and it's only available to nonprofit hospices. It's a national organization, and it's volunteer-based, and focuses on keeping pets and patients together during hospice care.
Wow, so it's actually its own organization within hospice.
Well, yes, it is.
Okay, so you take volunteers and they can donate and be involved in it?
Yes.
Okay, so it's going to help a hospice patient and their families to keep their pet with them throughout their end-of-life journey. How does it do that, and what are the steps that a patient would take who has a pet?
Usually our interdisciplinary team, which includes nurses, social workers, chaplains, CNAs, they recognize that there is a pet in the home, and the staff may even recognize a need for extra care, or they'll ask the families and patients if they need assistance with things like dog walking, food donations, a ride to the groomer, a ride to the vet, and on occasion we're able to provide some of the donated funds to take care of vetting costs and supplies.
Oh, wow. And I understand that Cornerstone Hospice is the first in the state to introduce this sort of program. How did it come about that they got involved in this?
Our volunteer manager, Lisa Gray, is a crazy animal lady like me and like a bunch of us in the organization, and she recognized the need and the importance of that relationship. So she reached out to Banfield Charitable Trust to get information on how to start the program with Cornerstone.
Wow. So there's actually staff and volunteers who participate in helping care for the animals and the patients. What are some examples of what they do for the pets and the patients?
Actually today I arranged this afternoon for a volunteer to pick up a patient's pet while they had their house fumigated, and the pet is actually going over to one of the vets that we work with, and she's getting a bath and flea treatment and vaccines and a heartworm test, and she's going to spend the night there in their care while everyone has to be out of the house, and then we'll have a volunteer go and pick her up from the vet tomorrow and bring her home.
What does that mean for a patient, and what kind of testimonials have you gotten from them about this program?
I just spoke with a woman yesterday who her husband has been on the program for almost a year, and she was ecstatic when she learned that we could help give her dog a ride to the to the groomer to have a spa day. And she was so grateful that it was just one less thing for her to worry about, and it provides just what it is, a peace of mind that someone is caring for little Sparky when maybe I'm not able to go take Sparky out for a walk or take him to the vet or afford vaccines.
Oh, wow. That's incredible that they're able to do that. Now, how is it supported?
Donations. And fundraising, yeah, yeah.
So there's help that's needed. How can we get involved if we wanted to?
People can make donations anytime to our foundation and just earmark it for Pet Peace of Mind, but we also have a lot of events. We also participate in a lot of the pet events in the area. Sometimes we'll be at some of the village markets. And we also will take donations of supplies, pet food, preferably gift cards to the pet food supply stores so that we can get what the patients and families choose.
That's understandable. So now, how is education involved in this program for the patients as well as the volunteers?
For one, with the volunteers, we have a protocol that they follow in order to care for the patient's pets in a specific way. But also a big element is, and sort of my life's mission now, is to educate the community about the importance of having a plan for your pet. Should you ever be unable to care for your pet for any reason, whether you're dying or you're sick or you break your hip or you're deployed. So many of our owner relinquishments in shelters are because somebody passed away and there was no one to take care of a pet or someone is ill. So we want to make sure that doesn't happen, and there's lots of resources for advanced directives for pets.
So I understand you're not really a rescue, but that you work with local rescues.
Yeah, we actually initially started working closely with Southlake Animal League, and we still do. And we have a network of a bunch of local rescues all over the 7 counties with which we work. And they'll help network or handle adoptions. There's times too when I'll handle the adoptions myself.
And what have they had to say about this program and how it's helped get their animals back out into the community?
The rescues, they appreciate the added network and the added support. It's sort of it becomes more of a team effort to help animals in need or people who need to find a place for their pets. And a lot of people, rescues or otherwise, say, "Wow, I never thought of that." We don't think of where Sparky will go when, if I can't take care of him.
So if they wanted to get involved, volunteer or donate, they could call the 343-1341 number?
Yes.
And they could also email at ppom@cshospice.org to help. Okay. So talking about those testimonials again, why do you feel that it's important to have a program like this available to the patients?
There's a very large pet parent population everywhere. And that relationship between humans and their animals is so profound, and sometimes it's the only relationship some patients have. And we all know that petting a dog or a cat or a horse can make us feel good. There's scientific evidence of how it can lower your blood pressure and things like that. So there's a health aspect. And then especially the emotional bond that helps going through that end-of-life journey. And then for patients to know that Whiskers is going to be going to a good home and having that plan ahead of time. I mean, I'm thinking of some of the patients that have just been so grateful and they can die peacefully knowing that Whiskers is going to be okay.
Yeah, and they're an animal lover, so they would want to make sure, some people will even, I know, will their pets to family members or friends, so that it definitely is an important part of that end-of-life journey.
A lot of people will put in their will to have their pets go to their animal hospital, but the animal hospital only has so much space, and they have cages and runs, and we want to avoid that. So it's best that people elect at least one person and maybe a backup, and then set up a fund for their animal should something happen to them.
Wow. Now you mentioned some of the events, and we've got one coming up at the end of August, the Wine and Whiskers. That's going to be at Lakeside Inn in Mount Dora. When is that, and how can you get involved in that?
Wine and Whiskers is August 29th from 7 to 9 at the Lakeside Inn, right in the front lobby. It's pet friendly. It's a little swankier than most of the events we've done, and it's so you can grab your cocktail dress and your pooch and drink some wine and hors d'oeuvres and enjoy some art. It's a fundraiser, so some of the artists will be donating some proceeds. You can go to the Cornerstone Hospice Pet Peace of Mind Facebook page and the website, the Cornerstone Hospice website, and there is a link to buy tickets through brown paper tickets.
Oh, perfect. And I understand that would be the same thing for the October the 3rd annual Wagon Walk?
The Wagon Walk, there's no tickets that you have to buy. The wagon walk is a little more of like a carnival, and there's lots of activities and rescues and vendors. And it's also at the Lakeside Inn, and it'll take up the whole front lawn there.
Okay, and there's a lot of other events going on with hospice just in general. And you were mentioning, what is hospice about? What would you want to educate people and understand what hospice is about overall, not just with the Pet Peace of Mind program?
Overall, there's a lot of myths out there about what hospice is and isn't. And ultimately, I work with a lot of amazing people that are there just to make sure that people can be comfortable during their end-of-life journey. And that's it. We want people to be comfortable and happy and satisfied. And there's lots of people, we were talking earlier about lots of people graduate from hospice just because they feel better. And that's the ultimate goal, is to allow people to be comfortable and feel good.
Yeah, I've had personal experiences with hospice, and it's just amazing. And I know Cornerstone Hospice really stands out from the bunch because it was even named the 2015 Hospice Honors, which was a consultant named them that. There was a survey and a tabulated survey that had answers that was provided by like 1,700 hospices across the nation. So they really do stand out from the bunch, and that's something else we could watch this month in the Hometown Health episode on LSTV. What are some of the other events that we have going on in the upcoming months? I noticed there's one in July at Lake Receptions, and then there's another one coming up in September at the Country Club. There's a Women for Hospice.
Yeah, the Women for Hospice monthly luncheon is the July 24th, and then next is September 25th, and there's one each month following. And gosh, I can't even keep track of all the events.
Yeah, I noticed you do a lot of work with the AmVets Association post-1992. There's Mardi Gras back in November. There's a Touch of Glass, the 4th annual in November as well. So where could you find more information about all this stuff?
At www.cshospice.org.
Okay, so perfect. So anything that we missed, any of these events, you can go on cshospice.org and you can find out exactly what's going on. Well, we really enjoyed having you here, Kristine.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming in, explaining a little bit about the Pet Peace of Mind program. Again, how can we get involved if we're interested?
You can call the 352-343-1341. You can email ppom@cshospice.org. You can go to the Cornerstone Hospice Pet Peace of Mind Facebook page. You can go to the Cornerstone website, volunteer, donate, share, fundraise. There's all sorts of things. If you can think of it, we can make it happen.
Yeah, we can get involved. Well, thank you so much again for joining us. And if you are interested, go to cshospice.org, find out more about the events that are going on, and read the July issue of Focus magazine, which talks about the Pet Peace of Mind program in a little more detail and how you can get involved and exactly what it does for patients and for pets in the community, and how it really is an emotional attachment that those patients have, and how Pet Peace of Mind gives them that peace of mind on their end-of-life journey to go out with, knowing that their pet is taken care of, either fostered or found another home for. So we enjoyed having you, Kristine.
Thank you very much.
And we appreciate you joining us, and we look forward and wish you the best. We've got the next guest. We'll talk about with Northgate Animal Clinic, some of the stuff that's going on there and exactly what they do in the community to keep our pets happy and the owners happy. We'll be back with Focus Radio after this break. Welcome back to Focus Radio and Television. You might be watching us here on LSTV, which is Comcast 13, Bright House 498, and Florida Cable 4. Be sure to like Focus Lake County on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube, where you can watch Focus TV and check out some of the other videos we have of things going on around the county. Of course, don't forget to pick up your copy of the July Focus, available more than 120 locations throughout the county, and also find us on the web at focuslakecounty.com. Now we have our second guest, who is Beth Bent. She's the practice manager at the Northgate Animal Clinic right there in Leesburg. And we're going to continue on the program talking about the pet-friendly topic. We mentioned Northgate in our Focus issue on page 16. We had a little picture of Brooke and Bon and Sophie, who work at the offices. And now I understand you have some other kind of furry regulars in the offices pretty much on a regular basis.
Yes, many of our staff members like to bring their dog or cat, mainly dogs, to work every day with them. As long as we have the kennel space available for them to hang out, they're welcome to come anytime. So that's basically something we get to celebrate on a daily basis as working at an animal facility.
Oh, that's so great. Yeah, it's kind of an everyday take your dog to work national holiday.
Yes, definitely an advantage.
Now, what makes your animal clinic unique there at Northgate? I understand that you've been around since '72, but what helps it stand out?
Well, one thing about our clinic that's different in a lot of ways is that we do have an on-site blood donor that lives there with us. Tiki, and she's a greyhound, a 9-year-old greyhound that we rescued about 6 years ago from the dog track racing, and she has saved many lives by donating her blood, and we actually have her on site and she lives there with us. So that makes us a little different, having our own blood donor on site.
That's amazing. And I understand Dr. Bailey's mother, Dr. Bailey Clark, his mother was the first client at the practice back in '72.
Yes, the practice goes way back to a hometown atmosphere. She was the very first client of Dr. Young's, and then Dr. Clark, of course, bought the facility in '99. And it's a very hometown friendly, everybody kind of knows each other type atmosphere.
Yeah, I understand that. You know, you're known as the other family doctor. What kind of attachment do the people, the patients that they bring in, have to the staff there at Northgate?
One thing that I always tell my staff is that we always strive to treat our patients and our clients like they're our own family. How we would want our pets to be treated and how we'd want to be treated if we went into a place. They're kind of like our own pets when they're there with us. We care about them, we keep up with them, we know them on a name-to-name basis. They're not a number, you know, that type of thing. It's a bond, and we remember each animal's specific needs.
Wow. So what types of pets are there that are seen in the clinic, and what are the services that are provided to the pets?
Mainly we do see dogs and cats. That's our biggest population, but we do see on occasion some guinea pigs, rabbits, hamsters, rats, iguanas, no snakes because I'm terrified of them, so I'd have to leave the building if they come in the building, but we do see some small pocket animals from time to time.
Okay, so what is the practice really the most proud of since it's been in business?
I think the growth. We continue to grow, and the longevity that we've had with our patients and clients. We have wonderful client retention, and I said before, they're like our family. So I think that is something that we strive in, and we're very, very proud of, that we have such loyal clients.
Okay, so I understand that that would take a lot of training to keep the clients happy, to keep the staff on board. What part of the work goes into training?
Well, of course, when you start at Northgate Animal Clinic, you go through a phased training program, and everybody has an individual job description. So everybody knows what they are responsible for. We're always learning new stuff every day. I learn something new every day that I am there, and we go to continuing education events to make sure we stay on the top of veterinary medicine.
Okay. Now, I understand you mentioned a couple of the services. Now, I saw on the website, and we also featured it on LSTV's profiles last month, the microchipping. Why is this such a great idea, and what is involved in microchipping your dog or your cat or pet?
It's a very simple procedure. It's an injection that we do give the animal under the skin, and it implants a number that is registered to the owner. And it's very important because if we have any type of emergency or tragedy or anything like that, it's a link that brings you and your pet together. So if your pet was, say, taken to a shelter or animal facility, they have a microchip scanner there, and they can scan that number and link your pet back to you.
Oh, okay, I understand that. That's pretty neat. You've also got a laser technology. And what are the benefits of that, and exactly how does that help relieve pressure on the animals?
It is a class 4 laser. It decreases inflammation and it increases circulation. So for the arthritis, the inflamed joints, it helps a lot. We've seen wonderful success with some of the geriatric arthritic patients being able to have a healthier lifestyle and being able to move easier, and with less medication.
From these services, what would you say people have said in the past, like a testimonial and the connection that you have with the patients and their animals?
it's always good when their pet comes in, not good, but when their pet's not feeling well and they go home and feeling better, or they get better from a sickness, it's always a good feeling to see the client be so happy, you know, and proud of us.
Right, I understand that. What would you like people to know about Northgate in general?
Mainly is that we strive to prevent disease rather than treat it. We are a hospital, but we would much rather do preventative health care, which is key, which Dr. Clark has always said. The preventative health care, doing your wellness exams, your vaccinations, keeping up with the heartworm and flea medications, spaying, neutering your pet. So if we can prevent disease, then it's a lot easier than having to treat something.
Yeah, I understand that would be much easier, because then in the long term the pet will be happier, you'll keep the pet alive longer, and they'll be in general, and that makes the owner happier,
yes,
of course.
Yes, definitely makes the patient live longer and everybody comes out happy.
Now, how would we contact you? Is there a website we could go to, or a Facebook page we could go to for more information?
Yes, we do have a website, which is www.ngacvet.com. And also we do have a Facebook page that you can like us, Northgate Animal Clinic, and it's really good to go on there and like us on Facebook. You get to see a lot of promotions that we're having, a lot of pet article information. One of the staff members does a wonderful job in keeping up with that. We also post pictures of what we're doing day to day in the office. And sometimes it's neat to see your own pet, you know, pop up on our page. We also do have email that you can contact me at info at northgateanimalclinic.com, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions or be in contact with the clients that way as well.
And I know on LSTV's YouTube page we did a little piece in profiles about Northgate Animal Clinic in June's edition, so that you can go there and check that out, or look at that on LSTV, and you can actually see the staff in action with the animals. Now, we were mentioning that every day is Take Your Dog to Work Day. What does that make you feel like, you know, in general, working at Northgate? How is that atmosphere?
I feel like it provides a wonderful, good energy. The pets always, if somebody's having a bad day, say they come in, and then it cannot even be their pet, but one of our pets that comes in that'll brighten their day. Just because pets, I mean, they're never down, you know, they're always there to make you feel better. So I think that that's definitely a good advantage of working at the animal hospitals, that we can bring our babies to work with us. Because in so many places, not that they're not welcome, but it's just not used to have pets inside buildings. So to have them sit there and work with us on that type of level is neat.
Yeah, that is great. That sounds like the dream job. So thank you so much for joining us, Beth, and we'll make sure to go on there and check out ngac.com to find out more about the services, to stop in and maybe be part of the family. You know, it's the other family doctor, so that becomes part of the family and part of the practice and the habit of keeping your pet up on preventative care. Well, it's kind of an interesting topic for animal lovers and how they can benefit from those services. So thank you so much again for joining us, Beth.
Thank you for having me.
Thursday, August 6th, we're going to be back on here and on air on LSTV with the Miss Lake County pageant. They're going to be talking about the upcoming scholarship golf tournament on August 15th. Of course, don't forget to pick up the July issue of Focus magazine on stands in 120 locations throughout the county, which also features a special section that highlights those practices. Our serial story in this month's edition, Six Hands, continues with the 5th chapter. The fictional character Michael Green is on a cross-country trip trying to mend past relationships, and of course this month local author Ray Moore brings him into Florida, into Oklahoma, to see him come face-to-face with a lost opportunity. So you can look at previous chapters online, or you can open up the July issue and catch up on that. Also, our anonymous Focus foodie visits a local spot, Zach's Press for Time in Tavares, and puts them to the test. Can he get out and in and eat his food, and does the place live up to its name? Of course, be sure to like us on Facebook at Focus Lake County Magazine and subscribe to us on YouTube. And don't forget to pick up your copy of Focus. We've got the same focus that we've always had. It's a catalyst for conversation in the community. I'm Anthony Rayo. Thanks for listening to Focus Radio, and don't forget to keep us in your focus.